Hi, my name is Hannah Lynn Miller, and I'm obsessed with three things: fashion, therapy, and theology. And even though they may not seem to connect, this podcast is all about how those three things really do. Not only do they intersect, but you'll find that they are tools for helping you navigate hard things like the question of who am I, what is my purpose, and how do I change my life narrative. I have around 8 years of radio broadcasting experience, and I recently quit my Chicago radio job to start a media marketing business and finish my clinical mental health counseling degree. I live on the west side of Chicago with my cat, Karen, and my handsome pastor man husband, John Miller. We are going to get real, hang out, laugh, and talk about knowing and owning who you are created to be. Think of this as a place where you can chat about your favorite fashion trends and then ask hard questions about mental health, relationships, and your faith. So basically, we're going to cover all the things. Most importantly, that your identity is covered in what Jesus did on the cross for you. Cool. The camera and the microphone is working. You just never know, you know. I'm happy to take you along on this ride, on this journey of podcasting. And let me tell you, it is so hard to get motivated. I mean, okay, it's just a little bit more difficult to get motivated to do a video podcast because I'm like, I have to put makeup on and I work from home. So like, I try to fit it in when I'm like going out because I feel like it's so much more possible for me to like get ready and put on makeup if I'm gonna do something. But then I have to like really, really, really make sure that I have time, and this podcast takes so much time. Anyways, let me dive in and not waste your time and talk to you about the process of making a podcast because I did this to myself. Speaking of podcasting and how difficult sometimes creating content can be, we're going to talk about daily habits. And this is something that I've thought about a lot since I own my own company. I have worked really hard on a master's program and have gone slow bit by bit. And sometimes when that happens, when you're like really trying to do something big, it's in the little steps and it's in the daily habits. And I love atomic habits. I love studying this stuff because I'm not an organized person. I am 100% a creative, and maybe that's you. But maybe you already know this stuff. But I think that everyone needs like a good reminder that it's in the little steps. It's in the day-to-day. It's in showing up. And so that's what we are going to talk about. So when I say daily habits, what comes to mind first? For me, it's funny because I feel like sometimes it can be like getting dressed or eating breakfast or making sure that you eat before you have your coffee, like things that or brushing your teeth every night, things that we have learned since we were kids, or we should have, you know. It's like adult things that you do just to show up in your everyday life. Well, today I want to challenge you that the daily habits that you've built for yourself since childhood, or maybe when you were a teen. I recently got into more of a skincare routine, and it's taken me like 29 years. So whatever it is, those are the things that are going to build your life and create better everything. And it can be from getting dressed and looking your best. It can be from your spiritual journey with the Lord. Like it could be all the things like working on your mental health. Actually, daily habits and showing up is really good if you have any kind of anxiety, any kind of depression, any kind of mental health struggles. Just doing the day-to-day things is like so important, and it's really, really helpful for everyone, including people who can struggle with their mental health sometimes, and if you're going through a hard season. for me, when I think of daily habits, I think of instruments. I come from a family that we all would play something. And my mom said, and I think we started when we were 6, but my mom always was like, okay, you have to pick an instrument. Whatever you want to play, we are going to help you do that. But first, you have to play the piano. And I hated playing the piano. Like, I hated it. And I had the sweetest piano teacher. She was so sweet. Oh, my Lanta. She was so wonderful. And I just really appreciated her. And she was just like the best ever. But I still really didn't like playing the piano. So I always joke with my mom because I said, you made me play the piano and I hated it so much. So I decided to pick the most expensive instrument out there. So I started playing the harp when I was about 10 years old. We started on this like Paraguayan harp that it's not a classical harp. And so when we got to the harp teacher, I forget what her name was. I think it was Miss Shirley or something. She was like, yeah, you need a different harp. So then we started on this Irish, it was an Irish pedal harp, and I think it's called a Pratt. I'm so nerdy with this stuff, and you guys don't know this about me, that I am a harpist, because for the last 10 years, I've lived in Chicago, and because of the places that I live, there's no central air. So I can't keep a really expensive stringed instrument in my home when there's not always going to be air conditioning. I tried it one summer and the soundboard started buckling, and I was like, oh my Lanta, I still have like nightmares about it. Anyways, so that's what I think about when I think about daily habits, because when I was really wanting to become a professional harpist, I kind of went back and forth between becoming a professional harpist and then doing harp therapy, which is a thing that I probably still will do. I just have to get certified, and then I can bring that into my mental health practice, which will be so fun and interesting because I don't really know anybody who's done it. So look out for that if you want harp therapy someday. Give me another year and I will start doing that. I was like in junior year of high school. That's when I started doing harp school, and it was intense. The teacher she taught her son so well that her son is the Queen of England's harpist, or had been when I was a student with her, which was about, 15 years ago. Wild. So anyways, I would wake up really early, and every single day I would do scales, and it was the most tedious thing. I mean, you can think of so many things in life that is so small and so tedious, but it helps you immensely in whatever you're doing. Like writing, people who write, that's another area where you just really need to make sure that you are writing every day. It's like a muscle, right? Working out is another thing. I know dancers, releves seem so minor, but they can really help and improve your balance and your strength and your calves. Like it's just, going up and down on your toes, and that's it. But it's so crucial to make sure that you are doing that every day. So daily habits build your life. They build your skill. They build the ways that you can build a career, the ways that you can build your studies. It can be the way that you master a skill. It's showing up every day. I love YouTube, obviously. That's why I love creating vlogs and stuff, but I also consume a lot of YouTube content. And one thing that I love to watch is I love watching those who are artists, like painters. And one of the YouTubers I watch, she actually will start on a painting for 2 hours every morning, and will leave it and then come back to it. Now, I am not that kind of person when it comes to painting. I am an artist, but I really am quick and dirty. And so I just do not like coming back to a project. But I was thinking, I was like, you know what? If I did have a setup and if I started getting into that habit, I could do that. So what is it for you? Like, what is that daily habit that you love, that you do to make your life better, to improve your skills, to improve your mental health, whatever it is? Like, take some time during this episode or like afterwards and write it all down. Like, you be impressed with yourself. Like, what are the things that you do naturally every single day that you know have been helping you? We're going to talk about that a little bit more. But just think about those things. Like for me, like I'm running 8 to 10 social media accounts right now. I really do think it was me showing up every day for harp and practicing the harp that really taught me consistency. And that is a big reason why I feel like I can stay organized. I can stay motivated to keep creating content for all of my clients, all the companies, all of the clients. So what are those things that have been helping you do what you need to do in your business, in your family life, showing up for those in your life? It's consistency, and it starts with daily habits. So we're going to go walk down this lane with me. We're going to talk about how this improves your spiritual walk, your mental health, and some ways that you can improve your fashion and style, because we cannot leave that out. We're going to cover all the things. So you showed up today, you clicked on this podcast, and I am so, so thankful. This is exactly where you need to be. Showing up is a great phrase for when you are feeling down or not motivated. You've seen it probably all over social media. It's even used for those who are struggling with depression and anxiety. And in the book, The Secret Society of Success, say that 3 times fast. The Secret Society of Success, the author says to ask yourself every day, who are you showing up for each morning before you go to work? I love this practice. I love thinking in my head, okay, I'm going to show up for my husband. I'm going to show up for him today. I'm going to do one thing that will just make him feel, okay, Hannah's got my back. Take some time to build a daily habit of spending time with Jesus. He is the only one who will consistently show up for you every single day. He's there. He's ready to talk to you. He's listening. He's ready to give you wisdom and love and fill up your relational tank. He's the healthiest relationship you will ever have. So why not spend time in God's Word every single day and find the motivation to show up for others in your life by spending time with the one who has shown up for you each and every day of your life. My big word for this year is that God is faithful. And I really do believe that 1 Corinthians 1:9 says that God is faithful, by whom you were called into the fellowship of his Son, Jesus Christ our Lord. We are called into a fellowship. We are called into, that basically means a relationship. And so when you tap into that relationship, it's going to help you show up for the others in your life. Whoever is on your mind that you have to show up for every day. Maybe it's your daughter, your son. Maybe it is the kids that you foster. Whoever it is that you have to show up for every single day in your life. Listen, the way that you show up every day is through the strength of your relationship with Jesus, because he is the only one out there who is going to show up for you consistently. You cannot find happiness in others. You cannot always rely on everyone, because everyone will go through seasons, right? But Jesus is he's always got your back. He's the one who's talking to the Father about you. Says that Jesus is talking to God about you on your behalf. That's amazing. That's an amazing relationship that we get to have. And the fact that he was able to live on earth and know what we're going through is amazing. Like, sometimes I think one thing, I'm going to be a little bit vulnerable here, but one thing that's hard for me is that John and I are both the oldest of our family. And so we are both kind of the experiment child in a lot of ways, me more so. And so sometimes I'm like, man, I don't feel understood by my siblings, and sometimes I don't feel understood by my family. It could be also that I'm a 4, so I kind of take joy and pride in that, not being understood. But I feel like something that hit me over the head was that Jesus, he was the oldest, and he felt misunderstood because he was doing what the Lord had told him to. And I think it just helps to remember those things in the moment, and talk to your Heavenly Father about it, talk to Jesus about it, because he's showing up for you every day. So with that sounding board, let's continue into our other parts of the episode. This where we talk about all the things fashion news. We're going to talk about fashion psychology. We're going to talk about better tips on how to improve your style. This is just like something super practical. And as always, you can skip this part if you are not into fashion like I am. I love it so much. That's why I've been writing a fashion blog for tons and tons of years. I don't even want to say how many, but it's been a while now. So these are a few daily tips to improve your style. These are things that you can do every single day. Because I'm working from home, I feel like I'm a little bit hypocritical to be talking about this, because I totally do not do these things right now. But these have helped. Like I've had seasons where I will do this. But okay, the first thing is plan ahead. This is a given. It's so much easier if you just lay out your outfit. My mom was always notorious for doing this for herself, especially now that she's working and stuff. And it was so easy in high school, and the morning show, I kind of just threw on whatever was comfortable. So this didn't really apply to that, but it always does help to plan ahead. If you're going to work, if you have to look professional, plan ahead. Sometimes your Sunday reset days, your weekend reset days, take some time and plan ahead, like what you're going to wear each day. 5 outfits. That's all you have to do, is put together 5 outfits, and then you're set. You don't have to think about it the rest of the week. Like that would be so amazing if you could do that. Okay. Second thing, keep your wardrobe organized. I'm so bad at this, but I know that it would totally help my style if I did. I've been saying this on Instagram on my stories, but we are really feeling cramped in this 750 square foot apartment right now. Like, it is feeling really tight, and I don't know if it's just because like John and I have accumulated more stuff and I have to clean out, or I'm just like ready for the next season. I don't really know, but I am kind of ready to move on. But we have 2 closets in this whole apartment, and that's the only place for our storage. So I have all of my winter clothes and my summer clothes in one closet. I put some in bins like underneath the bed, but I try not to do that as much because I tend to forget about those. Anyways, if you had a organized closet, think about how amazing your wardrobe would be. It'd be so much easier to like know where things are, put together outfits. So that's something that I'm always striving for. I have cleaned out my closet so many times, trying to like make sure everything is where it's supposed to be. It is a challenge, but it's so worth it, because when you have an organized closet, it's so much easier and not as overwhelming to like pick out an outfit and get dressed in the morning. And I'm looking forward to a house and a nice walk-in closet. That'd be amazing. So maybe you have that. And that's always a great goal. Like, simple is better when it comes to organizing. If you kind of struggle like I do with a wardrobe and staying organized, here's a little tip. I put all of my clothes on an app. So I organize all of my clothes on an app. I have pictures of every single item I own. And this was kind of like my COVID project that I did. I put it on, this one that I use is called Story. It's kind of spelled like STOREY. That's the app that I use. I'm not sponsored or anything. That would be fun. But that's what I use just to keep organized. And it helps me pack, because I get like extreme like travel anxiety. Not extreme. That's so dramatic, Hannah. No, I just like will procrastinate. And sometimes that's literally from just having some kind of anxiety of like clothes separation. Do you ever get that way? Like, I literally don't want to leave my clothes behind in my closet, so I want to bring all my clothes. I have a problem. Anyways, don't be like me, or be like me in this way. Download a wardrobe organizing app. It's so helpful. I really recommend it. I use Story. It's free, and there's other ones. You can also pay for a few if you really feel like it. Okay, so the fourth way to do the fourth daily habit to improve your style is to check the weather every morning. This is like really important for Midwesterners because the weather changes so much. So I would just definitely recommend doing that. Other thing is, make sure that you have more time in the morning than you think. Like, make sure that you can take your time. You can change your outfits so that it's comfortable. Maybe something looks better in more casual shoes, and you want to make sure that you can put your shoes back and stay organized that way. This is really crucial. Like, take your time in the morning. Like, make sure that you have an hour at the very least. And, if you struggle to do this, just remember, I got dressed every morning before the morning show. And when I was on the morning show, and I just call it the morning show just because it's easier that way, just picture me getting up at 3 a.m., okay? So if I can do it and I can give myself about 25 minutes to 30 minutes, you can get up at 6 and give yourself a whole hour. You can totally do that, and you will thank yourself because you'll have time to spend time with Jesus, time to do your makeup, time to do your hair, and maybe do some extra chores around the house so that when you come home, everything's organized. I'm trying to get my husband to do this. You can take your time and make sure that, the dishes are put away so that when you come home and you're exhausted and you can go ahead and right away, like, cook dinner and be ready. So that's another tip. Another one is mix fashion trends with classic pieces. You guys know that I'm all about like slow fashion and being more classic with your pieces. But sometimes you can find really cool trends at the thrift store, and you can mix that in with expensive pieces that are classic, that might not be the most sustainable option, but they're going to last, and you're going to wear them a lot. Like, I think a good example of this is a designer bag, like having one or two designer bags that you really invested in, and it will really like enhance your outfit. I think this would be really good. I think shoes, having like really, really good pairs of shoes and mixing that in with some like more fashion trendy pieces like tops or a hat or jewelry, like those things kind of go in and out of trends. And so making sure that you're not spending a ton of money on those pieces and then mixing it in with some staple items, that is a really good daily habit to get into to improve your style. Buy a steamer. Oh my goodness. This is like the best thing I ever did. Is I invested in a steamer. Like, again, we are in a tiny apartment, and having a big ironing board, or just even like we had like the half one, you know what I'm talking about? Like, it's half. It's just such a hassle to get out. Like, I just would never do it. I would never iron my clothes. So having a steamer and investing in one, like I spent like $40 on a steamer, a good steamer, and I am so happy about it because it's so much more relaxing. It totally makes your outfits it won't have like the natural crease all the time, but it just looks a lot more natural. Like, you bought it that way, you've worn it, and it just lays nice, and you got the wrinkles out. That's all you need. And if I could do it, I would actually pull it off and get like a real professional one, just because it's so worth it, and it's so nice, and it makes all of your clothes so beautiful. I love it. I love it way more than ironing. I mean, it's been like 10 years of not having an ironing board, and I'm not missing anything. So that's a big tip. Last habit to implement to make your style better is have a backup outfit that you love. Like just have one there that is like not super creative, just something that you feel super comfortable in, and it's always there so that if you have a day where you're just indecisive or you are running late and you don't have time to figure something out, pull that one out and that outfit out and know where it is and make it super accessible. Put it in front of your closet or whatever you have to do and make it your staple outfit. And then that way you won't be late and you will look great no matter what. All right, that's that for our fashion tip of the week. And we're going to go into our mental health tip. This one is something that is like, it's so good and simple, but I just want to share it with you because it's really changed my life. I use something called tasks in Google. So in your Gmail account, you can create tasks and it shows up on your calendar. The only thing that I don't like is that you can't send it to people, but this is why I like this app. I like it because I can track all the tasks that I'm getting done. So when you have anxiety and depression, a big thing that is hard for you is conquering little tasks. And sometimes it can get really overwhelming. I had a season of that. I'm like so much better with it now. But I do think that something that helped me was having these daily tasks to just like check off. And those are really helpful. I also have a planner, and I used to use the Passion Planner, but I now found a way better one on Amazon. So here, I'm putting it on the video on YouTube, so if you want to check it out. But I'm also, maybe I'll like link this into the show notes, but this planner is so wonderful. But I'll show you. So it has priorities, like 3 priorities, you know. You can't even read my writing, but I'll show you. So that's like today. I haven't been using it because it's summer, but this is like a good example. Okay, so they have that for, they have like 3 priorities for the week, for the day. And then if you look, they have another page for like the month, and you can review how your month went. And every day there's a habit tracker, and you can totally like, I don't know if it's going to show up in the video, but hopefully it starts. I don't know why it's not. Okay. Is this on manual? No, it's on automatic. Okay. So you can like cross off every day that you have done this habit. And it has helped me so much, especially from working from home. I have Bible reading, vitamins, dishes, journal, checking my money, my finances. I have like check and then the money sign on this. And then a 30-minute workout. So every time that I accomplish those things, I cross it off. And then at the end of the month, I can see how many days I actually implemented that habit. I love this so much, and it's really been helpful. And I think getting into the practice of taking care of yourself in these small ways, sometimes it just takes intentionality, and it definitely takes an everyday effort. And that's why I think daily habits is so crucial to building a better life. Make sure that you're showing up for those people in your life. Like, I think the dishes thing is really crucial for John and I, because I want him to know that like I'm thinking of him. I don't cook every day because I don't really like it. But I will try and put the dishes away every night, just so that, you know, the kitchen is clean before I go to bed. I'm trying to get into that practice. That was not something that like I grew up with. My mom would make sure that like the counters were all wiped down, but that was it. Like there was always like dishes in the sink. And so that's just something for myself. I think that would really improve my mental health and John's as well. Like, I just think having a tidy home is really important, and it does not come naturally to me. So That's why that's one of those things. And then I also have journaling, and journaling has been really helpful for me too in this season, just to remember, like, this is what actually happened. Like, sometimes you tell yourself a narrative that didn't actually happen, that wasn't true. And you can start telling yourself that to the point of you forgetting the positive things that happened. And I definitely do that. I have a tendency to think very negatively about situations. So I keep a journal by me, and I try to jot down like really important times or seasons, which is this one, because it's a transition for both John and I. We are having a transition year. And I mean, mostly for me, just because of school and then not being in radio anymore. And that affects John too. So I'm journaling every day to just try and process like my feelings and emotions, because I definitely am still grieving that dream. I'm excited for what's next, but I want to be able to remember this season in a positive way and not taint it with so much negativity, which is tends to be my so these are just things that are so to remember. Like, other things that I try to keep track of is, you know, spending time with Jesus, my Bible reading every day. That was something that I implemented in 2020 because I was having so much anxiety. I needed to like consistently have water and remember to do that. And it really does help your mental health. So these are all things that you do every day that helps your mental health, helps build your life, helps build your relationships, your family. These are just things to make your life better. So try it out. Get a habit tracker. Download that app on your Google account, because that will really help you keep track of like how many tasks you're getting done. You can actually schedule it to show up every day. Like, you will finish the task in a day, but then that task will show up again to remind you, hey, you have something else that you have to do. And it's on your phone, and it's amazing. It's so good. I love that tool. So anyways, try those things out. And I hope this episode was helpful. I definitely had a great time with you today. Let me tell you a little secret. I have scripted out all of these other episodes, but I'm getting a lot more comfortable just talking for 35 minutes to you. This is so fun. I hope you enjoy it. I definitely have. This was not as scripted as the other one. So, you know what? Bear with me. This is like the first time doing a more intentional podcast. And so I'm having a lot of fun, and I hope you are too. And yeah, I will see you in the next episode. Thanks for listening and watching. Can you make sure that you are subscribed so I can see you again? Make sure you're subscribed to the You Are Covered podcast wherever you're listening or watching this show, and take some time to review it on iTunes. This goes such a long way. I know it takes like a few seconds to get there, but it really, really matters, and I would so appreciate it. It goes a long way, and it helps us build a community here in the digital space. So thanks so much ahead of time. As always, know that Jesus got you, girl, and you are covered. Be blessed.